Hey, 720 here, Big 550 KTRS. Let's talk a little baseball with our friend from MLB TV. He is Keith Costas, a producer on the MLB Morning Show. Good morning, Mr. Keith Costas.
Good morning, McGraw. How are you?
Well, I'm great. Thanks for small-timing me at the game last Friday night.
I'm sorry. I had to work. Got to pay the bills.
Yeah.
I can't just go have a few cold ones with you as much as I would have liked to.
You stood him up?
I'd like to, McGraw, but I'm in the booth hanging out with everybody.
Well, the guy's got to work.
Well, whatever.
I extended the invite to you. You seemed more interested in those beverages, though.
I saw your mom, too. Your mom came up to me, and that was the first time. I talked to her a couple times on the phone. It was the first time I had a chance to meet her in person. She was very nice. You should be very nice to your mom.
Yeah, she's all right. I like her.
She's all right. I like her. All right, Keith, we were talking off the air about Johnny Peralta. You can make an argument, and I'll make it, that Peralta is probably the best Cardinal free agent signing in 20 years.
Yeah, I think you could make that case. Just thinking of it off the top of my head, no one comes to mind, and you certainly have to give that signing an A+. There's plenty of teams around the league, particularly one here that plays in Queens and the Mets, that would have liked to have made that deal. A lot of people, obviously, with the PED suspension and the speculation about how he would come back from that, were skeptical of the deal, but it's been nothing but great for the Cardinals so far.
I can't believe, when he was signed, there was a lot of who is he, what is he, how good is he going to be, but think about where the Cardinals would be over the last 2 years if Johnny Peralta wasn't around. Absolutely.
Not just how good will he be. There was some question as to whether or not he was even a shortstop. People were saying, well, what are you going to do? You've got Colton Wong, you're moving Carpenter to third. This guy's getting older. He can't play the position anymore. He might not be Ozzie Smith, but he catches the balls he gets to, and his bat's been more than enough for the Cardinals. Like you said, they'd be nowhere without him. Well, I don't know about nowhere, but they'd be in trouble this year without him for sure.
What are you hearing the rumor mill about the Cardinals doing something offensively between now and the end of the month at the end of the trade deadline?
Other than that they need to and likely will do something, I haven't heard many particulars. We hear a lot of the same names bantered about. A left-handed first baseman. A lot of people talk about maybe a platoon veteran guy like an Adam Lind with the Brewers, or maybe an Adam LaRoche with the White Sox. In an ideal world, I think a guy like Ben Zobrist from the A's, who's going to be in high demand for just about every team in contention this year because he can play virtually every position on the field, that would probably be the ideal fit. He's a guy that gets mentioned with the Cardinals a lot over the last couple of years. Whether or not they'll be able to pull that off, I'm not sure, but I would be shocked if they didn't do something to address the offense.
It sounds like every team that's in contention is having offensive problems. We have now sort of reached this sort of era of the pitcher, so anybody who gets moved, the price is going to be up there.
For sure. Like you said, that's a league-wide problem, not just teams in contention looking for a boost, but just offense in general. When Jake Arrieta faced the Cardinals a couple nights ago, I was listening to the Cubs broadcast, and they were mentioning how 10, 15 years ago, a guy like him with a 2.8, 2.9 ERA, that guy's in contention for a Cy Young or an ERA title. This year he's not even an All-Star. So that's just indicative of the way the sport's trending across the league. And like you said, a lot of contenders would welcome a boost in the arm offensively this time of year.
You were talking about the Mets, and you follow the Mets, and you're there, so you have to you get it just through osmosis. But I mean,
unfortunately, that's correct.
They're not hitting either, and they're sort of there. So you just go down the line. Each team is dying for some offense. I don't know though how much. The fans, the Cardinal fans, are going to start. The drumbeat for a trade. I wouldn't want to give up any of their young pitchers, and I wouldn't want to trade anything going forward. You don't want to make a bad move and then trade a quote Shelby Miller for a hitter who isn't going to deliver.
I agree with that completely. I mean, it seems like every year you think, what are the Cardinals going to do with this logjam of pitching? And every year they end up either needing all the guys, if not going out and getting another guy, like last year with John Lackey. I mean, so you can never have enough pitching, and especially with the situation they're in right now. With Carlos Martinez and Michael Wacha being a huge part of their rotation, I mean, it's feasible you might want those two starting game 1 and 2 with Wainwright out in the postseason series. But at their age, with their limited history, you're going to want to be careful with their innings. So parting with pitching like a Marco Gonzalez or somebody that can make an impact in the second half of the season is probably not something they're looking to do, at least a pitcher that can contribute at the major league level.
Yeah, and I just pitching, I know there are no hitters out there, but pitching, it seems like those are even more valuable than a really good hitter.
Absolutely.
What Albert Pujols is on a mission this year.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to watch. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say that myself or any other Cardinals fans were necessarily rooting against him, but I think it's natural when he took the deal in Los Angeles to kind of have that reaction of, maybe not that he was a traitor or anything quite that extreme, although that sentiment's certainly out there among certain sectors of the fan base, but just that, that he's past his prime, he's getting older, maybe he should have recognized that and taken a more team-friendly deal, stay in St. Louis, be a little more realistic about the situation. And I'm not saying he's going to get back to the near Triple Crown levels he was at in St. Louis, but this guy's got a chance to lead the league in home runs this year, possibly even set a career high in home runs this year. He's back in the Home Run Derby, which is a Stars event. It's pretty cool to see him back in the limelight like this and excelling, and I think most Cardinals fans would probably agree with me that I find myself really rooting for Albert.
I do find myself switching over and watching those Angels games when he's up just to watch him. And this Home Run Derby in Cincinnati, he could do some damage in that ballpark.
The Great American Launching Pad, as I like to call it. Yeah, it's kind of a joke of a ballpark. Not exactly my favorite venue in the league, but for an event like this, it could be pretty great with the way the ball flies there.
So C.J. Wilson, pitcher for the California Angels, blew 2 fingers off of his hand during a firecracker incident?
I believe that's C.J. Wilson, the NFL player. I had the same reaction when I first saw that story, though.
Oh, okay, the NFL player. All
right. There were 2 NFL players actually that managed to pull that off last weekend. Maybe not the best activity a month before training camp, but to each their own.
Yeah, God love him. All right, what are you doing for the All-Star game? Anything special?
I'm actually taking off for a little vacation when the All-Star break rolls around, so I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks. Get away from baseball for a little bit and take a little break. So I'm out of the mix during the All-Star game.
All right. Well, have a good, safe trip. We'll talk to you when you get back, and make sure you say hi to your mother.
Absolutely. And just for the record, McGraw, I know you've been locked in on this. I just wanted to say I had a lovely ride to work with Uber this morning, just like I do every morning. It's a wonderful service. I would provide both sides of the ledger, but we don't have enough time for all my St. Louis cab war stories. So there's that.
Oh, boy.
Hold on a second here. This is breaking news. You've used Uber to go from Manhattan to Secaucus.
Often, on a fairly regular basis, and if not from Manhattan to Secaucus, from my door to the train in Manhattan, and then on to Secaucus almost every single day.
You take the Uber from your house to the train station?
Yeah, at that hour of the morning, it's $5. They're right there. You don't have to wait for a cab. It's quite the service for the consumer, McGraw.
And so you take Uber and mass transit.
I do. I double up.
You
Wow.
are a millennial, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Keith Costas, who gives us all the transportation news in the greater Northwest area, Northeast. Keith, have a good trip. We'll talk to you when you get back.
All right, thanks, McGraw.
You got it. Keith Costas here, giving us a little bit of baseball news and a little bit of Uber news. He's a talk show host in the making, that kid. 728 here, Big 550 KTR.